Hello, hello. You guys, I could not wait any longer to come on here. Couldn't. So I am going to, let's see, take some beautiful humans to come on. Yeah, I am jazzed. Jazzed, you guys. I don't even use the word jazzed, but I'm gonna. I'm so excited. When you hop on, comment, say hello. Let me know where you are tuning in from. And let me know how you're feeling. Now, sometimes Instagram takes a little bit to let me see the comments, and I'm 3 minutes early. So we'll have to give it some patience and love. And then we're just gonna jump in. Because you guys, I feel like I always have so much to say because I want to share so much. And I just looked and Theo is coming on right after me. And I don't want to take any time away from her. And I want to stay on schedule. So my name is Lisa. If you've never met me before, I am a collective visionary. I'm a human design specialist, and I curate the most beautiful luxury crystal kits. Good morning from British Columbia. Hello, Jocelyn. If anyone is wondering, I'm also in Canada, Jocelyn. I am in London, Ontario. It's a pretty beautiful day out, not gonna lie. Summer here has been on and off, as I'm sure it has been in British Columbia as well. So after this, we'll probably jump in the pool. Hello, Laura. Thank you for joining. So today our topic is Pathway to High Self through Human Design. So we're gonna be talking about that. But as a collective visionary, I really talk about the whole picture. So as we go through today, I want you to just think about your own life and how this relates to you. And if anything resonates, let us know in the comments. Now, as a human design specialist, I have to tell you, I am a 4/6 sacral generator. If you know anything about your own human design, let me know in the comments what you are, so I know who I'm speaking to. It is 11:01, so I feel it is okay to continue talking. Hello, Ricarda. Hello. Okay, any other generators out here? I gotta know. Who am I talking to? You beautiful, beautiful souls. So if human design is new to you, I'm gonna take a moment to just explain to you what it all is. 3/6 MG. Oh, I love it. Oh, thankfully not raining here today. Oh, you're not missing anything. That's great. All right, human design. Human design is this beautiful multi-system. It includes the chakra system, +2, astrology, the I Ching, the mandala, and it was all channeled through this guy named Ra. Now, before I lose you talking about how it's channeled, I want you to just think about any system, because the biggest misconception that we get with human design, because I'm sure you guys have seen it everywhere lately, it's very trendy, and it's really losing its power in that sense, because human design is powerful. Once you go human design, you don't go back. And there's a reason. There is a reason. So the biggest misconception is that it's just like a personality test. And it is so far from personality test. What we see in a chart is your conscious and unconscious parts of you. It is you to your core. It is you at a soul level. Okay, so we've got projectors, MGs, generators here. This is a great collective. So if you've never seen a human design chart, if you're watching this on the replay, I'm going to show you a picture of my chart and just briefly explain to you what it means to have defined and undefined centers in your chart, okay? is as we think about a chakra system, we think of these different parts of our human body. And this is what we see looking at a human design chart. So this is a special one that was created for me. So we see colored in centers and white centers. And these colored in centers are defined, and there are power centers. It's really where we can tap in and extract that power, that consistency. And our undefined centers, the white ones, sometimes people call them open centers, they're where we are more prone to conditioning, where we are more prone to, taking in things from the other. But what's beautiful about these undefined centers, these open centers, these white parts of our chart, is that this is where we get our wisdom. So as a generator, a lot of people say, oh, generator, you have so much energy. But I actually have a very open chart. If you look at my chart, I actually have 4 undefined white centers. And these centers, I bring in a lot from the other. I bring in a lot of conditioning. Ricardo says, defined root, sacral, spleen, the rest is open. That's beautiful. So you can feel that too. So when we connect this back to our highest self, I want you to think of what it means, the highest self. What does that even mean? And now it's 2021, okay? So a lot of people have a different definition of highest self. So I want you to think of highest self right now of your purest form. Where are you in your purest form? Where are you, the purest form of love, light, bliss, joy? To me, that's our highest self. And if I think about my whole timeline, when I think about the highest self, I think about the highest self before I even came down to earth. So I believe that before I came down, before I chose my parents, before I was in my mother's womb, I chose what my path was going to be on this earth. I chose to come down to my mother. I chose to be a coach. I chose to guide the collective, and I chose to be here in this moment. But what happens is that when we come through, conception, when we leave our mother's womb, when we start our life and we go through childhood, adulthood, and we are where we are today, things get fuzzy. That highest form of ourselves gets a little bit lost. We forget who we are. We forget what we desired to do. And my wish for each and every one of you is to get back to that highest form of love and bliss, ease, joy, to your highest self. And for me, we get there. And for many, if you've been in the human design world, that we get there through human design. That our human design is the pathway to the highest self because it shows us who we are at the conscious and unconscious level. When I look at your chart, I see you like you've never seen yourself before. When you've received your first reading, you know what that means if you've had one before. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my pathway and how I got here and how that connects me back to this pathway of highest self and connects different parts of my chart to my story. If this is the first time you've caught me, you know that, I didn't choose initially to be a coach. And like many of the women here, this path chose us. Deep down, it's already written, right? But we've gotten there. So 20 years ago, when I had to 20 plus years ago now, when I had to decide what I wanted to do after high school, university applications are coming up and I had no clue what I wanted to do. I was like, I don't know. Like, how does one make that decision? That I have to make a decision for the rest of my life? I have no idea. Let me know if that resonates with you. Like, I have to decide what I want to do for the rest of my life right now. When I apply for university applications, I have no effing clue. So I sat well, stood actually, at the counter in a kitchen at my boyfriend at the time at his mom's house. And his mom had a friend over, and we were standing at this kitchen counter, and she said to me, you know, we've only been talking for a little bit, but I actually think that you should go to school for nursing. And I was like, I don't know anything about that profession. She's like, well, to be honest, like, what's your goal? I was like, well, I want to have a job. Because as I grew up, I was told, my belief was that like I had to have a stable job, that I had to go to school, I had to go down a path where I knew that I had a job, that there was security there. She's like, you'll always have a job. You can do this, that, the other. There will always be a job for you if you go to nursing school. And in that moment, I was like, done. I just decided to take that path on. And I didn't really decide that. It was decided for me. So I went to nursing school. And as I went through nursing school, I kept thinking that I should do more. I ran Frosh Week, Welcome Week in university. I had 2 jobs. And I was a full-time student. Like, what? And I did that because I was told having debt was bad, that I needed to work hard for my money, all of this stuff, okay? I went through nursing school and I left and I found a job, gave me full-time hours, and I moved 6 hours from where I was to move to Ottawa. Laura says, I chose my favorite subject, studied English at university, but it wasn't meant to be. So hard making these decisions at such a young age. Yes, exactly. Because we're not taught to follow our desires. We are not taught to do that. We are taught to do the best thing for us. Now imagine, I'm going to go back to my story in a second, but why don't we imagine the world right now, if we could teach our children how to stay at the highest form of themselves. If we could have them follow their path along life to guide them and teach them. So when they get to adulthood, there's less relearning, there's less deconditioning. What if when that choice came at the end of high school, they were crystal clear and they knew, yeah, I know what I want to do. Without all of these ridiculous expectations that's put on us through society now, especially in 2021. And imagine we gave our children and ourselves right now permission to be exactly who we are without hiding our little personality quirks, without holding in our opinion, thinking it's not good enough. What if we could just be who we're meant to be? If we could just be the highest self that our human and our soul knows how to be. Okay, so let's go back to this first job that I had in my nursing career. I, as a nurse, somehow knew that I wanted to work in oncology. And for anybody that doesn't know medical lingo, oncology is cancer. Okay, so I worked in an inpatient ward for radiation oncology patients and hematology patients, so blood cancer treatment, okay? And this unit, it was a lot. For a while, I was called the angel of death. I was that person that came onto the unit and just transitioned people into end of life or allowed them space to pass on. And it was a lot for me, but I had been told that I needed to do more, be more. So I kept moving up, even though I was under so much stress. I would be in charge. I would be the clinical expert, teaching people that were 20, 30 years older than me how to do a skill in my profession. And if you're a generator on here watching, we're here to master something. So it's to no surprise that in that job, I was the master of my craft. But very soon into my career, less than 3 years working full-time as a registered nurse and with a part-time job on the side, of course, I was burnt out. I would go home every night and just pass out, not even showering, not even eating. Yeah, my college students are stuck, and even when I give them the freedom to explore, they are so stuck in shoulds. Yeah. I mean, and the majority of the population is generators, and we get stuck in that should. We should do this, we should do that. That's a big part of our deconditioning as generators and manifesting generators. So I look back on this career and I think of all of the ways that I could have been supported through my human design. I could have been supported through this pathway to my highest self. Now, I am still along that path because our whole life is a journey, right? But when I look back at these different parts of my nursing career, at that burnout, I didn't know what to do until somebody told me, Lisa, you suck. Like, you're being a shitty person. You're miserable to be around. Something needs to change. And in that moment, I decided, okay, I'm going to take 30 days off. I'm going to do yoga teacher training. And I did yoga teacher training, and that really taught me how to make space and build awareness. And I don't even know how, as a full-time job and another part-time job, I got 30 days off in a row, but when it's meant to be, the universe aligns. When you ask for what you want and desire, you receive it. I mean, obviously there's more to it, but if you're here, you get it. I did those 30 days, and when I came out of that 30 days, when I had awareness and clarity, I told my manager, I need to work part-time. And she's like, I can't do that for you. I said, okay, then I quit. And she's like, well, I don't want you to do that. I said, okay, then you make a part-time position for me or I'm quitting. And she was like, okay, I'll do it. And I said, and I also don't want to work night shifts. She's like, I don't know if I can do that. I said, okay, then I quit. She's like, okay, I'll make it work. So in that moment, I knew exactly what I needed to be able to get through. But at that time, I didn't really understand why I was struggling so much. I didn't get it. And then if we fast forward to 3 years ago when I found human design, it was so crystal clear for me. So what I want you to take away from this right now is that even if you know nothing about your human design, you can get to the pathway of your highest self by doing the things that I did through my nursing career. Now, what did I do? Everything starts with awareness. And for me, I was so stuck that I needed someone to tell me, Lisa, you suck. Like, you're being a terrible person. It started with that awareness. Okay, so your awareness can start simply with this system, the human design system, simply existing. Your next level of awareness can be within your own life. What do I enjoy? What is in my life right now? And then what I want you to do is create space. I created space by telling them, I'm not doing this anymore. Or you give me XYZ. I mean, you don't need to be that blunt, and it's not always going to work out the way it did for me. But where in your life can you create space? Where can you do one little thing? What feels shitty? And then remove it. Create space for new to come in. What feels bad? What are you doing out of a should? What are you doing to just fit inside somebody else's box? Now, next is unlearning and relearning, and this is where human design comes in. Okay, so let's go through parts of my own chart. I'll use mine as an example. So if we go back to these defined and undefined centers, we know that some of these centers are prone to conditioning and beliefs and will require some relearning. So I took on somebody else's path as my own. So one thing that isn't really talked about a lot with undefined centers, these white parts of our chart, is that yes, we feel other people's emotions and sometimes take them on as our own. We have other people's conditioning that we take on as ours. We allow that to be part of our identity. But what we don't realize is that other people around us, we can take on their defined centers. Okay, so say you're living with another person and they have a defined G center and you have an undefined G center. Our G center is our center for direction. It's our magnetic monopole. It brings things to us. It leads our path through life. And with an undefined G, your life can sometimes feel all over the place because you don't have one set direction. You just follow your desires and do what feels good in that moment. And that was me. I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life, because for me, that it doesn't feel good to just do one thing for the rest of my life. So I took on somebody else's decision for me of what I should do for the rest of my life. That was my undefined G taking over in that moment. And if we look at how I responded to like burnout, why I became so burnt out in that job, I have an undefined solar plexus. And our solar plexus houses our emotions. And when we are unaware that we have this undefined solar plexus, we can take on everybody else's emotions around us. And these undefined centers, it's almost as though this open space wants to be filled up. It wants to be filled, just like these colored centers are filled with color. They are filled with power. It wants to fill your undefined centers with just other shit, no matter what it is. So I was taking on the feelings and emotions of my coworkers, my patients, the doctors, the families, everybody's taking them on as my own, and I had no idea what to do with them. Now, if I can give you one piece of advice, it is to please look at your chart, find out if you are defined or undefined, and just be so gentle with yourself. Because I completely shut myself down from my own emotions, completely. And that made me stuck in finding love in friendships and like love relationships. I was single for my entire adult life. I didn't have a relationship that lasted longer than 3 months because I was so shut off from my own emotions because I did not know how to deal with all of everybody else's shit coming into my body. I didn't know how to get rid of it. So if you have an undefined solar plexus, please, for the love of God, anytime you are going to an event, if you're doing anything, even in your own home, and somebody else in your home has a defined center, or they're going through something really emotional, or they're upset, and you come into the room, you're feeling great, and then you get there and you're like, oh, fuck, I feel like shit. I want you to think to myself, okay, is this emotion mine or is it somebody else's? And if it is not yours, give yourself permission to let that shit go. Because it's not yours to deal with. So those are two big examples. I need to look at the time because I have lost track of it. And I don't, oh, we're good, 11:22. I want you to find so much ease in your life. I want you to find ease with the least resistance possible. And can you do that without a coach? Can you do that without human design? 100%. Laura says, I have an open head, heart, sacral, and solar plexus. Yeah, and that can be a lot. That's a lot. Open head, inspiration, ideas coming in and out all the time. Open heart, maybe not feeling worthy. Sacral, not knowing when to stop. Solar plexus, other people's shit. Laura, that's a lot to process. You can do all of this without anybody. But what do you desire for yourself? Do you desire to be on that path to your highest self, to have this human design system be your navigation? And if the answer is yes, man, do it. You won't regret it. Now, our path is already written for us. And it was already written for me. I was meant to go through the life the way I did, to meet my husband, to be here as a coach, to have my children. Right now I have a 4-month-old and a 3-year-old. And I was friggin' up all night. But here I am. We get to have everything we desire. And the reason that you are sitting here right now is because you desire more. Your magnetic monopole, your G center, whether it's defined or undefined, brought you here to listen to these words and to decide whether this resonates with you or not. So if you're like, okay, I know nothing about human design, what do you desire to learn more? What is your soul telling you? Sharpen your awareness. Create more space. Because human design, yes, it's this system. We follow it. Okay, there's going to be these changes. It's this process of relearning, unlearning, and then getting to be who we are. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to hide behind everything that you desire to do. Because as you are right now is exactly who you're supposed to be. Ricardo says we could make an HG thread in the group. I'm curious to know what everyone else says. Yeah, totally. This is and has been the answer to so many of the issues and problems and traumas and even love that I've had throughout my life. Being open to learning, being open to understanding who I am at a soul level, the conscious and unconscious parts of who I am, has changed my life. It has changed who I am as a mother and as a partner. Now Jocelyn says human design doesn't resonate with me at all. My human has been aware since 2.5 years old. And that's incredible. That's incredible. So yes, mybodygraph.com or myhumandesign.com are excellent resources to find out what your human design is. If you would like to win a free digital reading, I had a download right before we came on here, and I think I might have written it in the title and then completely forgot. If you want to win a free digital reading from me, take a screenshot and share on Instagram and tag Ricarda and I. She has me tagged in her stories. I'm at It's Lisa K. Simmons, and you know Ricarda is Empress Rising. If you know your human design and you want to start to integrate and embody, till the end of this summit, 3 months of Voxer support with me is $2,222 US. It is what you've been looking for to be the highest form of who you're meant to be here on earth to become. And the reason it's Voxer is because my defined throat, you don't need video calls with me. You don't need an hour just of me talking to you, because you get that clarity and it's crystal, crystal clear just through Voxer. So I'm going to end it there. But you guys, awareness, creating space, and unlearning and relearning. That's where it's at. And let your human design be that guiding post for you if it is something you desire. And if it doesn't resonate with you, fucking throw it out the door. Laura, incredible offer. Yeah, man. Lisa says, your voice is activating me right now. Thank you. You're welcome. Magnet Lisa. Well, you're welcome. It is a pleasure to be here. And if you want to enter the giveaway, then just take a screenshot, share on Instagram, and tag Ricarda and I, and we'll draw it closer to the end of the week when the summit is over. I am no longer going to be offering digital readings soon because I'm going to be strictly doing Voxer support and digital downloads for different centers, because what I found with, wow, that I just completely switched my voice. Apparently channeling is over. This is now business me. What I found with my digital downloads is that they are more effective than just one big document with everything, because our human design is so in depth and there's so many channels and there's so much to learn, that when you get your digital workbook from me, a digital human design reading, it can be a lot. And even though I give instructions as to how to do it, it can still be very overwhelming because it is 25 pages of magic. So that's what you could be winning. So soon those are going to be gone, and it's just going to be you deciding what you want to learn and going at your own pace. Okay, so if human design doesn't resonate with you now, but 2 months down the road, you're like, oh, I'm sort of curious, and you want information that's clear and concise, then you can just go on my website and pick what you want to learn and take it and run with it. Would you like to pose for a screenshot? To be honest, Laura, I don't even care what I look like, because yeah, I just don't. You should see the screenshots of me because I'm a pretty expressive person. Yeah. Downloads for different centers, genius, chills. Yeah, man. And downloads for authorities, profile lines, design types, strategies, legit everything. And that's in the works right now, and it's going to be birthed probably in the fall, but this is going to be one of the last months that you can even get digital workbooks. So if digital workbook is what you desire, they are $122. But if you have already had that and you just want to jump into Voxer, the 3-month of Voxer support is $2,222. Pay in full for the 3 months, just till the end of the week, and then the price goes up. Oh, you're welcome, Jocelyn. Okay, I love you guys. Enjoy Theo's talk. I'll be tuning into that as well. I love Theo's voice. She is an activator for me. I love you all. I'll see you soon. Bye.